Good morning. This is the 2022 Board of Equalization and Review, for Union County. We've been appointed by the county commissioners to hear any and all taxpayers with respect to concerns and complaints regarding the valuation of their property for tax purposes. Property owners appearing before the Board of Equalization and Review have the right to a fair and equitable hearing. The Board of Equalization and Review has been charged with ensuring that the proper legal principles have been applied in a valuation dispute for tax purposes. So the format for the meeting, we'll try to keep it as relaxed as we can, but we've got to keep some order to it. So to start with, the clerk will call the case and locate the property where we can see it on the monitors, here. And the appellant will step forward here and present their information to the board. Once that's done, members of the board will have the opportunity to ask questions of the taxpayer. Then the assessor's office will present their information. Members of the board will go through and ask questions of the tax office. Once that's done, we will circle back to you with any, further comments. We just ask when the county's given their information, kind of sit tight, and I will circle back to you, for any final comments there. The board will rule on the case or table it and inform the taxpayer, of the decision within 30 days. By statute, the burden of proof is on the taxpayer to demonstrate the assessment, is erroneous. And if you're presenting any sales data, that sales data needs to be as of 1/1/21, which is the revaluation date, or before. It can't be after that date. Cell phones, if you would, silence those. And any questions? Okay. With that, Madam Clerk, turn it to you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The first tab we're hearing today is parcel number 071050004A. The property owner is Liquid Management LLC.
Okay. Good morning, Dennis.
Hey, good morning. My name is Dennis Moser with the Moser Group. I'm the owner of Liquid Management. The parcel that we're discussing today is the new hotel site, potentially in Indian Trail, right beside the Hub Apartments on Highway 74. The original assessment you guys had was $4,932,000. My opinion of the market value of the site's $850,000. We currently have the site. I think there's several things that stand out that'll help you in your decision. One, we currently have the site listed on our website for $1,550,000. We don't have any offers. From that, $1,550,000 that we're asking, I have emailed you. I don't think it was in the package that we sent Thursday, but I emailed it this morning. If you could print it out and provide it to them. It's from my assistant, Renee Little.
Did you send it to Belma this morning?
Yes, yes. We sent you the listing flyer, and there's a summary of cost. Where in 2020, we had a grading contractor come in and give us an estimate of what it would take to be able to build on this site. As you're going to see in that summary of cost, it's $491,000 back in 2020 in order to do that. That's probably almost doubled today with the way costs have gone up and all that. Another major factor about this site is a little more than half the site is in the wetlands. In your packet, we've provided you with the wetland study from the wetland specialist. That's a key factor. None of that area can be touched, disturbed, graded, and/or, of course, the site can't be utilized and/or built on. Another important factor in your file that we've provided you with is the last contract we had with the Corrigan company who was building the Hilton there, which has since fallen through, you'll see our actual contract price with the buyer was $875,000. And then they're paying for the cost to do the grading, build the retaining walls, all of that stuff. Those estimates that are in that actual contract are no longer relevant. They're twice that or close to it. So just keep that in mind. A lot of that's from 2020. There's another email from April of this year that is from my son-in-law, Tom Crouch, who's here with me, who's been working with us on this site. He manages all of our grading and the site preparation. He emailed one of the buyers that we were looking to sell the site to and offered it, say, hey, if you're concerned about the cost, if you're concerned about what, it takes to put this retaining wall in, we'll just sell you the site for $850, which we're saying that the site's worth. So to me, that's pretty evident of what the site is worth. If I'm willing to sell it for that, we don't operate in this business and not sell everything for what it's worth. So if we're telling you we'll sell it to you for $850, it's probably worth that, we just don't, we can't make a living, trying to sell stuff for less than it's worth, so that's so that anyway, the key factors is one, we're asking half of what your assessment was at. From that, you have to deduct $491,000 plus since 2020 of grading costs, plus the cost to build a retaining wall. And then the other factors are, the site is in about half of it's in a wetland that can't be utilized and/or touched and/or disturbed. So that's how we came up with our opinion of why we think the site's worth $850. Be glad to answer any questions or.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, Dennis. Yeah, and let me see if members of the board have any questions there. Ray? Thomas? Mark?
No, sir.
Okay. Mike? Okay. With that, we'll let the county present their information. Yeah.
All right. This was tabled from the last time. We didn't have information, and Mr. Moser provided the information to us about the wetland area. It wasn't on our mapping. It's not even on the FEMA maps. They're incorrect. But with the information he provided, we used our own GIS employee that confirmed that was probably correct. We went in and we took that. There's 3.8 acres of this that are usable. So we deducted out the remaining 3.045 and some change and gave 85% off for that portion of the land. On the remaining portion that can be developed, we deducted 35% of what our normal rate was because of the lack of sewer that we had given everybody else that had appealed in the area that had this vacant tracts like this. With the 3.8 remaining acres, if you just look at those acres alone, this value that we have on it now is $394,447 an acre. If you look at the comparable sales that I'm using, it's well within that range. It's toward the lower end of the range. In fact, the apartments that are right beside us, they sold for $526,851 per acre. So we feel like the reduction from that amount to what we are at now well takes care of any type of grading. The comparables that we have, they all required some type of grading work as well, except for the old Burger King site that they did have to do a demolition on. Otherwise, it was site ready. So we feel like that, And it's, you know, a little bit under what they've got it listed for. We were not aware of the listing price, but we feel like that close to 1.5 million for 3.8 acres on Highway 74 is a reasonable amount.
Okay. All right, questions from the board? Mike, any questions from Ken? Bart? Thomas?
I do have one question. Does the location of the wetlands in the creek, I know the actual space decreases the value, but the location of it, does it also impair the property in any way?
It's at the rear. It's one of the exhibits that he had provided. It shows the location, should be
It looks like
exi-
a lot of it goes kind of about 2/3 of the way through. It's not at the full rear, but it's kind of,
yeah, it runs over to the side. There's a portion of it that does run to the side. In his Exhibit A, I don't know what page that would be on, but looks like it's about 15 or 18 pages in. It shows where the hotel would have been located, and the developable area is outlined in that.
just looking at the
That's
site
it.
map here, it looks like there's a good bit kind of behind it to the right.
Yes.
And I didn't know where that would fall into the, I can't find the page.
Yeah, I think I've got it page, at the bottom, it's labeled page 23 of 37.
23?
Yeah.
Mr. Smith, what you're seeing on that, though, the site plan there, the only way you get that layout with that hotel on it is to spend $491,000 in grading plus a retaining wall in the back along the wetlands. That site plan doesn't exist without spending that money. So that has to come off the asking price. You know, that's why we have a contract at $875. That's why we offered to sell it for $850. And then the comparables that he's using, I actually own, sold, and/or was the broker. So I own the site next door that he said was for the apartments. That was an internal transaction between me and my partners. That had nothing to do with market value. So I don't see how you use that as a market sale when I own it, sold it, and still own it. You know, it's just not, it was a transaction that we put in the deed, so.
Yeah. Let me circle back to you. Let me get the county to finish their presentation, then I'll circle back to you, Dennis. Okay?
Yeah,
I got you there, though.
We were unaware of any type of internal. It appeared, for all intents and purposes, it appeared to be a market sale.
Right.
But it's 500, it was even at non-market 500,000, so we throw it out. We can look at the other comparables, and we're still at 300,000.
Okay. Any other questions on your end, Thomas?
No, I just wanted to get because it just seems to me that the wetlands do make a reasonable part of this not quite as usable as if it was,
Right.
let's say the wetlands were truly fully in the back.
Mhm.
You get a larger area for the footprint of the
Right.
development.
Okay. Ray?
The comparables you used were in that same area, location?
Yes, yes.
Whereabouts?
There's a page, and it's not numbered, so I couldn't tell you. It's highlighted in yellow and orange, and there's comparable maps that also highlight, it's probably
In his stuff or our stuff?
ours. There'll be a list of sales in yellow and an orange color, highlighted. And then there'll be, right behind it will be sales comparable maps.
But didn't you say those apartments right there was 500? What was that about?
It was, but Mr. Moser says that that was an internal transaction, so we're fine with throwing that sale out, and we can use the other ones.
I found the comps here, I think.
Did you?
Yeah, it's, I don't know, just several pages behind the yellow divider.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, this is
Looks like this right here.
extensive.
Mike, looks like that.
I'm just trying to find the yellow divider.
Yeah,
Out of orange.
well, it might be behind your orange one.
This one.
Is this piece of property right next to that new liquor store, ABC store?
No, this was another one that we had an appeal.
Where is this, where is this?
This one is right on Highway 74 at North Indian Trail. You know, in that corner, there's Chick-fil-A. So if you go past Chick-fil-A and on the left, there's a Taco Bell, and then you have this tract, then you got the apartments that are being built.
Refresh my memory so I don't have to go back. What is your estimated dollar per acre assessment?
394,447. That's for the 3.8 usable. That's not everything, so just throwing out the remaining acres. Well, the last time we were here, we had reduced it to 3.2 million. And now we're at 1,498,900.
Okay, any additional questions for the county? Okay. No, thank you. Okay. Dennis, any wrap-up comments from you?
Yeah, just a couple of comments on the comparables that he's using. You know, again, one of them is an internal transaction with me and my partners. The other ones, two of the sales have retention as part of the sales price, which means a couple of $100,000, and they're graded.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just don't see how you compare that to a site that's a whole, you know, with no retention in the wetlands, you know, and perfectly flat. I mean, you know, it's, and with retention already in place, and in one case, grandfathered where you can sheet drain it, which is a huge deal. And you know, they're just not comparable. I was involved in each one of them, and, you know, I don't, the sales utilized are just inappropriate for this. And what I think we're offering the site to be sold for is a much more reasonable opinion of market value. So,
I have one question.
yes, sir.
Mr. Moser.
Yeah.
What's an internal transaction?
It means that we, you know, they're related parties where, you know, I own the selling side and I own the buying side. It just,
You got two companies that, do you own both of them?
yes, sir.
How did you establish the price between the two?
Well, I've got partners that are involved in it, and it was allocating it for my investment into building the apartments. We just came up with a number that we both agreed on. Yeah.
Well, that
Yeah.
sounds like a pretty good deal.
Well,
What do you like the figure to be, right?
yeah, but one thing, even if that site, let's just say, man, the site next to it is a comparable. The number we put on it was reasonable. Well, that site's totally flat. It's above grade. The only wetland on it is a little neck that I put into the deal to cross to get out to 74. A very, very small portion of that is in the wetlands. And I got approved 22 units per acre. The density on that is insane. It's like downtown New York City. You know, I mean, it's 350 units on, what, Tom, 9 acres there? You know, so it's, you know, with only, the parking's only 1.34 spaces per apartment. You know, they're 3 and 4 stories, you know, there. It's the highest density ever built in the county, period. The site is so unusual.
Yeah.
And you just can't compare it to a 154-room hotel site. And one thing too in all this is a hotel will only yield, you know, a certain amount in order for it to be feasible. Rarely does a hotel site all in, graded and ready to build on, yield over that 1.5 range, which means this one again, it's 1.5, but you have to deduct the 490 in grading plus the retaining wall and all that, which we think you get back down to a value of 850.
Okay.
One last question.
Yes, sir.
Simple. This internal transaction, when did that take place? What's the date?
It was May of, I think it was May of 2020, is that, he already left, but,
A couple of years ago.
yes, sir.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Dennis, thank you.
Hey,
And,
thank you.
when we go into the deliberation phase, the board will make a decision and notify you within 30 days.
Appreciate everybody's
Okay.
time. Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
Thank you.
Take care.
Mr. Chairman, moving on to tab number 2, the parcel number is 09405-071. The property owner is Jeanette Williams Greenberg.
Good morning, Ms. Greenberg.
Good morning. I'm Melissa Demet, her daughter.
Okay.
So, Ms. Belma, did you have the paperwork from the email I sent? Okay. My dad passed away October of 2021. My mother suffered a significant reduction in income by losing my father. And I was told that this program was offered in an effort to help her be able to afford life. I applied for the program and then it was denied because they said it went off the prior year's income. Well, if you go off prior year income, I mean, my dad was still living. We're going off of a projected lack of income with the property taxes. And that's all I'm asking in the appeal is to reconsider.
Okay. I understand where you're coming from there. Let me see if members of the board have any questions. Mike? Mark?
No, sir.
Thomas? Ray? Okay. With that, let me hear from the county side of it, and then I'll give you the opportunity to make any final comments. Okay?
Yes, sir, thank you.
All right. Travis?
Hey there, how are you?
Fine. How about you?
So what we did was, we got the application, looked at the income. We saw where we needed additional income because her father had passed away. We have to, per the statutes, we have to look at all of 2021 income for the person that is applying and their surviving spouse if they pass away, or if they're both surviving, we look at both of those. And so what we did is we got that income and we included it. And then, so that put us over the income limit. And so we sent the denial letter. And then we had, she called me and asked me about it, and I told her what we had to do per the statutes. What we do in office is follow the DOR recommendations. And so I reached out to DOR and asked them about it. And then in their email back to me, they said the IRS requires that a tax return be filed for the deceased from the prior 1/1 up to the date of death. So the surviving spouse can still file a joint tax return and claim deductions and rates for a joint return. And then in yellow, right underneath it, this is per IRS website, surviving spouse can file joint returns for the taxable year in which the death occurred. And so it was their recommendation that we use the income for the surviving spouse, and that's what we typically do for everybody else. So that's kind of all.
And I know this is in here, but for the members of the board, Mr. Greenberg passed when?
Yes. It was October
Of 2021.
October 16th, 2021.
Okay. So in that case,
So for 2022 application, we would use 2021 income.
right, okay. Thank you, Travis. Okay. Ms. Green, is Demet,
It's Greenberg Demet.
Greenberg
Yeah,
Demet?
still
Okay,
the
sorry
same.
about that. Do you have any final comments? I understand where you're coming from, but I mean, I wanted to circle back to you to see if you.
Well,
yeah.
it's like I asked Travis, why offer an appeal if you don't have a process to go through for the appeal?
Okay. Okay.
And I didn't find out until after the fact
Okay.
that it was based off of a 2021 income.
Right, understood, okay. And I forgot, does the members of the board have any questions of the county? Mike, do you have, sorry about that.
No, sir.
Mark, Thomas, Ray, okay. Thank you, and after we go into the deliberation phase of the hearing, we'll make a decision, and then you'll be notified within 30 days, if not sooner.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, okay.
Tab number 3 is parcel number 093393011. The property owner is Providence City Church.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Ryan Bradley. I'm the pastor of Providence City Church. And in November last year, I think it was around the 29th of November, 2021, we had the blessing of closing on a church property for our church. And as you can imagine, how excited our church was to finally have a place to call our own and to begin the process of putting down roots in our community. While we were going through that process of closing on the property and notifying our church, and because we're in the month of December, and as you can imagine, all the activities and assignments and events that we have in December as a church, we were unaware, because this is our first time owning a church property, that we had to file to have an exemption on our church property. And so that fell off of our radar, and we thereafter, at the close of this year, received our tax notification on how much we need to be paying, and wanted to circle back and appeal if we could have some grace in that area. So I guess that's the long and short of the story.
Okay. See if members of the board have any questions. Ray, any questions for the pastor? Thomas?
When did y'all form the church itself?
The church was formed in April of 2012, and so 10 years last year.
Do you operate anywhere other than this property?
Yes, we are leasing a place from Abundant Life Baptist, which is located in Indian Trail. So that's where we've been for the last 8 years.
Thank you.
And this property you closed on when?
I believe it was November 29th, 2021.
2021, okay. All right, Mark?
No, sir.
Mike? Okay. With that, let us hear from the county. And, okay. It's your day, isn't it, Travis?
It is.
Okay.
It is. So this one, late application, we received it on October 26, 2022. The listing period's January 31st. So there's nothing that we can do outside of bring it to y'all for y'all to see, get y'all's blessing on it. We did, ahead of time, go ahead and look at the property, make sure it would qualify. It would be a partial exemption. They're not using all of their land. So I've got values, if you'd like to hear those, on what we would exempt if y'all were to accept the late application. But that's kind of all I've got.
Yeah, I'd like to hear that while so we don't have to circle back and delay anything.
Let's see. So what we've got is, it'd be on two parcel numbers. One would be not exempt at all, because they're just not in use. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if you did want to consider the two parcels together, tab number 4 is parcel number 093933011B. So we have, two separate pieces of property, two separate actions.
I got it, okay.
I don't know if you want to take them, together or independent.
So we've got that here, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So you can
I
see
think
the-
we're good. Is everybody good on that? I didn't realize that one, okay. Travis, I think we're good there.
Okay.
Okay.
So the 11 one, which is the one that would be partially exempt, we gave them both improvements, which is this house here and then this barn. So that would be the full improvement value of $572,800, which we would exempt. Then we would exempt 12.7 acres, which is in use, and then we would tax 4.5 acres. And so the taxable portion that we would not exempt is $106,848. And that was actually, we sent that to the taxpayer, and they agreed to that number if the application was to be accepted.
Okay. Okay.
And Travis, why don't you address 11B too, because that would be from the exempt.
Yeah, so 11B, this is one that would be totally taxable. They're not using any of it. So that's, the application, they applied together, but we have to work them kind of separately. So this one would be totally taxable because it's not in use, and then this one would be the partial exemption.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay. With that, any final comments? You're good? Okay. Like I said before, we'll go into the deliberation phase of the hearing shortly, and then we'll notify you within 30 days or sooner of the board's decision. Okay? All right. Thank you.
So since we lumped 3 and 4 together, we're moving on to tab number 5. The parcel number is 02317008. The property owner is Darlene Griffin. She sent us information for your review. She is not in attendance, and you know, we're fine with that. If you like, Travis can speak to the situation.
Okay.
So I got an email on Friday from her asking if there was any kind of consideration for late applications, and I told her the process of she would have to send us her application on her, I don't know if you have it, her application, the last page, at the very bottom, it says untimely application, and that's her
Yep.
reasoning as to why she was late. I told her I said we had to have everything by that afternoon so we could get it on the agenda today. So she got it to me pretty quickly, so we were able to get it on the agenda today. She said that she was in the hospital a couple of times this year, so we'll bring it to you, see what y'all would like to do for us.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. Anybody have any questions before we move on? Okay.
Mr.
Is that-
Chairman, that ends our agenda
So
today.
that completes the agenda. So now we can roll into the deliberation phase
Yes, sir.
and just take them right back in order. So we're back to tab 1, liquid management. Dennis
Yes.
Moser. It's the pleasure of the board. Any discussion?
I see where Dennis comes on this. To me, it seems like there's still part of this that's not been excluded, that, let's say, the value is greatly diminished.
Mhm.
And if you look at those schedules of the other properties, if you hit it at the total low end, let's say 300 an acre, you get roughly $1 million out of this,
Mhm.
which I think gives him good consideration, and
For
we're
the-
not off, and there is some fudge for the
Right.
work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
It's not all the way there, but it's kind of splitting the baby, I guess, a little bit. I think this property is impaired in some way more than
Mm-hmm.
we're giving it.
I would tend to agree. Further discussion by anyone?
I'm looking at it from the standpoint that the county did still come back with a value of almost 1.5 million. And I know it was 850 that he has it listed in April of this year, but,
I think his listing price is actually 1.5.
okay, then that's what I was thinking was kind of close to this, so.
That's what he stated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in your paperwork that he emailed you this morning that Bella passed
But that
out.
didn't include,
Okay.
Yeah, you
That
can
didn't-
bring it up to site.
He attached his listing information. So he currently has it listed for 1.55.
Yeah, but that's being improved though.
Is that what it says?
No, that's
I didn't
the
think
wrong
that's
one.
what it
As
said.
is.
I don't know if it has that in there, is they will put plus, whatever, 480,000 or 630,000 improves it a lot. Retaining all of it.
I thought from the conversation it was, he was going.
that's what he said. That's what he said. Look at that right there.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
I will add that we can't really consider his current listing price.
No, you
Back
can't.
January 1, 2021.
True.
It's supposed to be what it is as of the
January.
first of the last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is as whatever.
What's the pleasure of the board? Good.
I think the tax office's opinion is spot on.
Have any recommendations?
Somebody got to make a motion.
Yeah. Yeah.
I make a motion, we accept the tax officer's new opinion of value.
So I have a motion from Mike to accept the tax office's new opinion of value of $1,498,900. Second, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Okay, motion's carried. Okay.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Tab number 2, parcel number 09405071. This is.
Didn't we have something very similar to this before, just recently? We,
The timing of it, is that? Which one are you talking about?
tab 2.
What was the question? Mr.
Hadn't we had something just like this recently? I mean,
No, sir, not on income. No,
okay.
not
Well, I
what
kept
happened.
thinking about the year. I mean, there was, okay.
Not that I recall. Your
I kept-
memory may be
yeah.
better than mine. But
I
this
just-
is, this is the stuff I deal with day in and day out.
Yeah, I just kept thinking by statute, this, you
But
know,
she'll be able to apply for it next year, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She'll have that income or IRS
Yeah.
thing,
that,
which she didn't file this year. But, nobody knows that.
right.
I
But,
don't.
Well, she did file this year, but it's based on the year before's income, and that's when
Well,
her
she's gotta
husband's
file it.
alive.
yeah, and I kept thinking we didn't want,
You're right.
I kept thinking we didn't want to make a precedent to make this, because this comes up quite a bit, I would think, or could.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
On this parcel, or tab number 2, original assessed value 181, and then potential assessed value 9,500. What is
That would be if the late application was accepted and that
Okay.
you decided to disregard the income amount.
Okay,
So what we're telling you is with an elderly exclusion, it's either 50% or 25,000.
that explains it to me. I understand now what it
Okay.
means.
So, I
Okay.
mean, the market value of her property currently is 181, but as you said, as far as I could tell right now, she would qualify for next year.
Right,
She just can't do it this year.
right,
I agree.
right.
I make a motion. We accept the,
I'll second
what
it.
is that?
Deny the application.
Deny the application.
So I have a motion that, yeah,
Yeah,
that the application's
I'll
denied.
second it.
Thomas seconded.
yeah. I mean, I hate to say the statute's clear, it's unfortunate.
I know.
Right,
But
right.
the statute's the statute.
Mhm. Any additional questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion's carried. And
Now, on tab number 3 and tab number 4, that's the Providence City Church. And the question before the board is to accept a late application. They did not apply timely.
They did not apply timely because they kind of missed the boat in January too. And
Yeah, they didn't know they had to apply.
I
They had always
understand.
run it before, so.
So now they know, because they got the tax bill. I just want to know where the church is going,
They're gonna,
in the back.
my understanding is they're gonna build it back off the road there and have that, no problem.
Do you think they'll demolish the house to access?
Right now, they're using that as their business office. I would assume, unless there's room on that property, I haven't talked to them about it, but I would assume.
They could work around that.
They could work around the house and they may use that as a parsonage or something.
That's what I was
Right
thinking.
now,
Yeah.
it's their business office.
Okay, and if it is a, you know, for the preacher or whatever, you know, that,
Manse or whatever you.
whatever you call those things, is that under the church and it would be
Yeah.
exempt? Just thought I'd ask.
Parsonages, any outbuildings that would be, used for
Church
storing
related.
equipment or having, you know, socials or whatever, yeah,
But the issue on this is just didn't
Just
come
the
in
layout.
timely, and
right.
we should address it the way we addressed the last appeal.
Yeah, and that just kind of was.
Just because they just didn't,
Right.
Well, number 2 was income, and
Yeah,
that's really totally different from everything else. She applied late,
yes,
but she didn't qualify.
exactly.
These guys applied late, but they do qualify.
They qualify.
Okay,
Yeah, they qualify,
so we can do that one,
yes.
if it came down to
If
it.
you make, that's your decision.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna set a precedent by doing
No,
it.
Right.
and they agreed to what the non-use
Yeah.
part would be. So
Yeah.
they kind of agreed with the county if we accept the late application.
That's all we're doing is agreeing to accept it.
Right. Right.
All right, who's gonna make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
So
Okay.
have a motion from Thomas to accept the late application, a second from
I'll
Mark.
second it.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion's carried to accept the late application. That would be for tabs 3 and 4, correct, for Providence
sir.
City Church.
Yes, sir.
Now,
So,
we,
tab
And
number
number
5.
4, excuse me,
They agreed to what.
number 4 doesn't change anything, right?
No.
right,
No, but their property, I mean, it was part of the application.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so tab number 5, this is another late application. Historically, the policy of the tax office has been that if they can show a medical reason for missing the deadline, that we would have approved the application. So in filling out her application, she did say that she was in the hospital, you know, multiple times this past year.
okay.
Again, she qualifies, her application is late.
Very similar to the one before, just,
I think so too, Mr.
Yep.
Chairman.
okay.
I make motion we accept the application.
So I have a motion from Mark to accept the late application. Second for Thomas. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion's carried to accept the late application for tab 5.
And that ends our agenda today, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Sounds like a lot of people kind of have the crud like I've had. You?
I just hit that water.
Yeah, okay.
I've had,
Lordy me.
Belmont, they don't.
Yeah,
that's as is.
We have more
I
business.
had no last week.
yeah, I did. too. I'm just getting over, just barely getting
In
over.
our original schedule of meetings for this year, was one day on December 19th.
Yeah.
We intended for that to be the last one.
Oh, come on.
We've got we got one audit discovered that the taxpayer nor our audit firm could be here today,
Right.
and we're hoping to settle it.
So you still have to bring it to us though, don't you?
Possibly.
No.
If we can settle it, we don't.
Okay.
But if we can't settle it, they want to go to the board. And so we pushed it to the 19th. That would be the only meeting, so I need to make sure we have 3 of y'all that can be here that day.
Far as I, it's 2 weeks from today.
2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
It's just so close
It's on,
to Christmas.
it's an audit that's been in process and back and forth for quite some time with Tyson.
Yeah,
Okay.
So it's a big one, but we're hoping to settle it.
okay.
If we
I
can't,
thought we tabled something else too.
We did.
Yeah, it's probably,
That you were gonna check if we could actually make a change. Some guy it was about 3 times what he was supposed to pay. I can't remember
I
specifically.
remember Dennis's being told.
Yeah, we want to,
You said you were gonna check and see if we could legally do
Back
it,
in October, I think, so I remember
but I
that.
can't remember.
Ray, you got anything over there? You remember what we're talking
the
about?
only thing I remember is tabling Dennis.
and Dennis was in October.
Well, when was he part of the last, he didn't show up. I know that.
The gentleman,
Do y'all,
we'll have to go back and look at the agenda.
I
This
don't
was something
remember
about a
what,
trailer,
See, I missed the last meeting, it was
Oh.
the
Yep.
meeting before was
a
Dennis.
trailer, and they had,
None of it's ringing a bell, but that doesn't
yeah,
mean
because the
anything.
last meeting
Yeah,
was
trailer.
personal,
It was
it
something
was
about a
personal
trailer.
property, wasn't it? It's what we dealt with
yeah,
at
and you
the
said you
last.
didn't know, they were gonna charge him like twice, 3 times what the value was.
of that trade, yeah.
And, but I
Yes, I remember
don't,
that.
I don't remember the guy's name.
So I did look into it, but I completely forgot about it with this agenda. We need to go back and look at that agenda and pull that up.
Way to go, Mike. I knew you had to.
And
Well,
I think,
I
I think
just-
that meeting
That
was,
utility trailer?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
and it was all personal property on the
Yeah.
agenda pretty much that day, if I
Yeah.
remember right.
I just,
Yeah,
we'll have to-
I remember now because I was reading through the
you
stuff, and I
said
remember Robin
you
saying, no, no,
wasn't
this
sure
is
we
personal
could
property, you don't need to read about the
do
real estate
anything
stuff.
You
about
had to look
that,
in to see if it was
and
legally.
the legality of it.
Right, so we'll have to,
Yeah, I remember now.
yeah, we're gonna go back and pull that agenda and look at it again to refresh my memory. Thank you.
I'm not supposed to be able to do that, you're a lot younger than I am.
Yeah,
Yeah, really.
You supposed, I'm supposed to forget stuff, man.
Mike's on the ball
Okay,
down
that's
there.
all I got.
Okay.
Well, that's because he moved from over there back over here to the north side.
So,
Yeah, that's why I couldn't remember.
put
She
us
put me
down here.
before,
Yeah.
she was marked out before.
with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to.
You got a motion.
Got a motion to adjourn, have a second?
Second.